to save our country from default. And because of those decisions, I can stand here today before you as Christians and as citizens of Kenya, that today our economy is different from what it was 3 years ago. Inflation has come down from 9.6 to 4.5%. The exchange rate to our dollar, which was going to close to 165, 167, for the last 2 years, it's now 128, 129. Pesa yetu ya kigeni, our dollar reserves, foreign exchange reserves, ambayo ilikuwa imekuja chini mpaka imefika $5.7 billion. Today, we have the highest foreign exchange reserves in Kenya's history. $12.3 billion. We have doubled our foreign exchange reserves. It only takes God. Yes. So, I am saying this so that as you pray for our nation, remember to thank God for what He has already done. So, our economy is now stable. We have managed to consolidate our economy. The interest rates are coming down. Interest rates on T-bills in 2023 were 16%. Interest rates on our treasury bills today is below 8%. It's come down by half. So we have everything to thank God for. Bishop has told us about the education sector and the debts the government of Kenya has to many universities, including public universities, including private universities. We had a very serious education problem. When I came here, I did the first thing to appoint a presidential working party because CBC had problems. We had shortage of teachers. We had shortage of classrooms. Our funding for universities was inadequate. In fact, some universities could not pay salaries. Public universities, 21 public universities were technically insolvent. By God's grace, we have put things together. We had the presidential party give us recommendations. We looked through our manifesto. We changed course. Now, as I stand here today, we have corrected the CBC. We have aligned the curriculum. Teachers, parents, students, other stakeholders now have clarity on the competence-based education. We have hired the highest number of teachers in Kenya's history. By January this year, we've hired 100,000 teachers as of January this year. We have built 23,000 new classrooms. And we have changed the funding model for our universities. Today, ask any vice chancellor. It's beginning to change. The universities that were technically insolvent are now getting out. So we have, by God's grace, stabilized that sector because education is very important. It is the single most important asset that we can use to equalize our society. when the children of those who have and the children of those who don't have, when they go to school, they become equal. Yeah? So we have changed that sector. And I'm very happy that we are making progress. You people know that in 2022, we had people, kuna watu walikuwa wanavaa sufuria kwa hii town, kwa kichwa. Si mliwaona? Unga imefika 250, iko shida. You know, we had to change the whole plan on how we are dealing with agriculture. And we've done 4 things in agriculture. Number 1, we decided to digitize and to register all farmers. Imagine we were running a sector that we didn't have data. So today we have registered in our database 7.2 million farmers. We said we are moving away from subsidizing consumption to subsidizing production. We brought down the cost of farm inputs, whether it is seeds, whether it is fertilizers. We have also driven out cartels, you know, people who took advantage of our farmers. We've cleaned the dairy sector. We have cleaned up the coffee sector. We have removed many people in between, all the way to sugar sector and all the other sectors.
Magaga yogochorwa koba omwambazada o Kenya wichia UNEP omusubati Canon Dr. Aida Betty Odinga nigo asiritukoria rero aikirana bosiwe kamati ya Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations elio kolingoli gwa gukwanekerekyo. Dr. Aida Odinga nigo araria libagari yaye nabo igo emirobiri ejuo abeire kago ikirania ase obogima bwaye imeyense ya Kenya. Aida Odinga nigo boigo aterabuna onye kagochia wetiwa ne kamati eyo nigo arachie kobeko mokia elio goikirania amange weterase libaga liaye buna omu ambassador.
With unwavering strength and serving faithfully in the church in various capacities for many years. She handled her grief with much dignity, embodied resilience with grace, and instilled in us enduring values of honesty, integrity, hard work, fairness, accountability, and above all, the deep fear for God. Her life remains wellspring of strength and inspiration to me. As I navigate my own journey, which now includes widowhood, I draw courage from her example. Proof that even in face of profound loss, one can rise, rebuild, and live fully a meaningful life and serve others. I grew up in Game in Etaya County and in Migori, and I attended Ogande Girls High School in Homa Bay County. Later, I joined the Highland School in Eldoret for my A-levels before proceeding to the University of Nairobi for my Bachelor of Arts degree with education as option, specializing in geography, which exposed me to the environmental issues. After university, I taught geography and general paper at Highway Secondary School for 2 years, and later at Kenya High School for 13 years. I also served as education officer with the Ministry of Education in Jogo House. However, even as I focus on my career, I realized that being the partner of then a political activist and someone who would later be recognized as the father of democracy in Kenya, it came with very heavy price to pay. This including sacrificing my teaching career and having to raise my family single-handedly as a young mother for a long period of time, particularly in a hostile political environment. Much about it is in the public domain, so I don't want to dwell much about it. Honorable Chair and members, for most of my life, I have often found myself in peculiar spaces that needed bold voice, a voice to speak for those unable to speak for themselves, a voice of reason and reconciliation during critical make or break moments in our nation and in our continent. And just like the biblical example of Queen Esther, who did not stay silent, but spoke out when it mattered and saved the whole nation, my life and work have been deeply affected by issues that inflict vulnerable populations across the great continent. I have done my best to speak out for them, all the platforms that have presented themselves to me. Allow me, Mr. Chairman, to mention a few of them. I have dedicated my life to advocating for empowerment of women in leadership and in governance. I founded the League of Kenya Women Voters to advocate for women's rights and expand participation in governance, and together with other reform-minded groups, we contributed to the push for affirmative action, which culminated in the creation of 47 women representative seats under the 2010 Constitution. Today, I'm humbled to serve as patron of the G7 Women Governors Advisory Council, working to retain and increase the number of elected women governors. Globally, I have participated in Commission of Status of annually since the historic Beijing conference in 1995, a forum review and evaluate the implementation and advancement of Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action. I have equally been passionate about girls' education because I firmly believe it is the most powerful investment we can make in our future, and through that, through Ido Dinga Trust, we champion initiatives such as Linda Kesho. This is a program which addresses the issues of teenage pregnancies and early marriages, and also in support of integrating the young mothers who had already left school to come back to school. I've also been able to champion nutrition. In the year 2008 in New York, I hosted a high-level roundtable summit for First Ladies in Africa, effective solution and end maternal and child malnutrition, which led to the declaration to include nutrition as a global development agenda. I also spearheaded and launched the first African nutrition policy in Kigali, in Rwanda. This is a critical moment when we are presented with an opportunity to shape the future. And if approved by this esteemed committee, I intend to do my level best to help stop killing our planet. I will pursue every specific and set priorities. First, during the United Nations Environmental Assembly held last year, Kenya demonstrated leadership by sponsoring and guiding the passage of 3 significant solutions. These are: 1, promoting sustainability solutions through sports and resilient planet.
Egati abaseneta nigo besokire na gukwanira igoro yo gutagurwa no gusarirwa kwenibe nyinge ase omochi Githurai ase enigo enyinge asarigwa kabogokira itwegoro ase abonzureria banyorete asara ere enene manyana bo nigo baburirie serikali kobeka emiroberi emiya yo kubanganya abantu boigona abonzureria ase chinsemo cha Nairobi na Kiambu ase kirebuna nigo bakumia muno.
Thank you very much, members of the fourth estate. We are here as senators. Senator from Kiambu, that is myself, Senator from Nyandarua, Senator Medu, and Senator Nyoto of Moranga. And we have a statement that I'm going to read, and then each and every senator will have to comment. We address the nation today with deep concern and justified anger over the evictions and demolition that took place on the night of 18th and 19th February 2026, and also last week in Githurai and Ruiru, both in Ruiru constituency and Risambu constituency, Thika town in Thika constituency, and other parts of Kiambu County. Small traders from Githurai, Thika, and Ruiru woke up to ashes. Shops were burnt, stalls were flattened, livelihoods that families had built over many years were destroyed in a single operation carried out under heavy police presence in the name of development under the authority of President Ruto's regime. Let me be very clear. Yes, we need roads, or Kenya needs roads. Yes, we need order. Yes, we need planned development. But development that destroys the poor without dignity, without proper notice, without compensation, and without resettlement is not development. It is oppression. In Ruiru, Thika, and Githurai. In Ruiru, Thika, and Githurai alone, over 5,000 small-scale traders lost their businesses overnight to arson in the name of eviction. This is not humane. This is not lawful. This is not just. This crisis is not accidental. It is a pattern, and it is being enabled by President Ruto's administration, colluding with highly connected businessmen and women to remove ordinary Kenyans and hustlers in order to allocate spaces to cartels. We also understand the dangerous cartel game now emerging. I'll take that again. We also understand the dangerous cartel game now emerging between Kenha and land grabbers. Traders are forcefully evicted under the pretext of road expansion, only for containers to mysteriously appear shortly thereafter, owned by individuals with political or financial connections. This is unacceptable. Let me be clear. Unlawful demolitions targeting small-scale traders must not be used to create space for land grabbers. I call upon residents of Thika, Ruiru, and Githurai and the surrounding areas to remain vigilant. No container, kiosk, or structure should be erected or demolished, on demolished business sites without the public knowing who owns it and who authorized its placement. Kenya's laws are clear. The 2009 Eviction and Resettlement Guidelines, the Land Act of 2012, and Article 43 of the Constitution also require humane, lawful, and consultative processes. None of these standards were met. I therefore demand, or we demand, the immediate halt to further demolitions, full compensation for affected traders, now exceeding 5,000 across Kiambu County, public disclosure of those who authorized these actions, an immediate end to cartel interference in market allocation, and a clear time-bound resettlement plan. Ruiru, Thika, and Githurai are not battlegrounds. Traders are not criminals, and the people of Kenya are not fools. Development must build people, not ban them. The people of Kiambu are watching, Kenya is watching, and history will judge whether this government chose dignity or impunity.
The last thing we should do is to demolish through what I can call arson. And I think I support the Senator of Kiambu when he says that demolition should be humane if it must be done. But then we remain very suspicious that these demolitions are only happening in one particular area. I mean, Kenya has many highways and other areas are not affected. But because I know that we'd be accused of, again, regionalism, just to say for now that this is not something that we are going to take lying down. These demolitions may have happened in Kiambu County, but then the traders there come from different parts of this country. That is why we must stand in for them. So for now, let's watch. But I support the idea that those traders should not allow anyone to erect any kiosk or anything else if it is not a road structure. And if we want to assist these traders, then, I mean, we could have demolished maybe a part of it in a humane way, develop that part, then go to the next part. So we just hope and pray that this is not, we have had a purge against people of our region in public service. We hope that this doesn't have a bearing on that. We will watch and see. One thing that I can say is that we will stand up for the rights of Kenyans, wherever they come from, wherever they are, but we must be humane in anything and everything that government does. Governments are elected to serve people, not to punish people.
We shall also be providing the names because we have been furnished with the names of 2 members of parliament from Kiambu and 4 powerful business people who are actually working in cahoot with the Kenya National Highways Authority through the just appointed Director General, who was just appointed yesterday, Engineer Kimeli. We are surprised that he was appointed yesterday and the demolitions are actually happening now. But we shall be providing the names once we are able to collect as much evidence as we can of those business people who are actually pushing the poor from Durai and parts of Ruiru so that they can actually erect, which is a very inhumane thing, that you are burning out, you are raising down businesses in the name of saying that you want to extend a bus stop, but in actual sense, you actually want to set up containers because we are aware that these 4 business people have actually been promised by the 2 members of parliament. They have been promised that they get space to actually erect their containers. So we want to ask President William Ruto, these are the people that you actually stood at the very place that you are raising down businesses yesterday. You actually promised that this inhumanity will not happen in your regime. The people of this region may have said no to your second term, but it does not guarantee you, it does not give you any moral bearing to demolish their businesses, destroy their livelihoods. These 5,000 small-scale traders do not have any other source of livelihood. They do not have anywhere else that they are depending on. Life has become very difficult. Life is extremely unbearable. So adding salt to that injury is by burning down their businesses. We want to also ask our people, be vigilant. Be very, very vigilant. As we speak for you, we want you to also be extremely vigilant. When you see a structure coming up in a place that the government has demolished your businesses, be very quick to call them out. Do not allow these cartels who want to come and erect containers so that they can continue impoverishing the people of Kenya so that they can continue singing the Hasra stories and what have you, because they want to impoverish people so that when they come and give us 200 shillings and give us sacks of beans and rice, we sing their names because we are hungry. Do not allow them to erect these illegal structures on the places that they have demolished your businesses.
The issue is not whether they were notified or not, because these are the people who have been there, traders who have been there for a long time with their businesses. What we are questioning is the mode of eviction, because if they are banning people's businesses in the name of eviction, they have already killed their livelihoods. And that's why we are asking this government that is giving people handouts, or probably in the name of Nyota Fund, those people are starting those businesses. So you give them Nyota Fund today, when they start a small business on the roadside with that little money, then at night you ban it. So that means you are not helping this nation. And that's why we're saying that during the day, this government under William Ruto, during the day, they are giving handouts and promises. But at night, they are coming for those handouts by demolishing people's businesses. I know that Gisoi has a market, and we're also calling upon the government of Kiambu to also be vigilant and come out and help the people. And I'm talking to the governor, because that market that was built, the allocation was not done properly, and some areas are not even occupied. So we are asking the county government of Kiambu, why also wait? Why don't you allocate these places to the rightful owners of these spaces? So I believe it is not a matter of notices. It is not a matter of how long they were given. The question is, yes, you are telling them to go. To go where? They should have been shown where to go, where to wait when this bus park is being built, but not to ban their livelihood. Some people have lost thousands and millions because of this eviction by the so-called government that care for people.
You may be aware or not that half of Olkalau town was actually demolished in the name of being that the land belongs to Kenya Railway. We actually refuted, and we really tried to fight, because that land has been there. The people who had actually, the small scale traders who had actually occupied that particular place had existing leases. So, but the Kenya Railway said that, oh, we want to do expansions and what have you, and small scale businesses were brought down. 6 months later, the whole place is now full of containers. So you actually know that the intention when they were bringing
Vya kegima bano mwancho muria weta TV ayunaro twabwate kurwa sense media yabaliki baitu bamangana ime yo murobiri okwana netari tukoria rero bayigona twabere tukumurikira amagenderera mange sana umugabana we county ya Kisii Paul Simbarati abere gakoenekia ase kibunge kyonsi kianda ime ye county ya Kisii ibona trash kogenda so muti mukoromo kegima mwancho murigereria nigo kongansira twambuke nsembo yitu akabere studio turamurikira n'indalia umugabana we county ya Kisii abereka gukora kubwa muno na ase municipality ya Kisii.
Ebuna bono simbara tumugabano itero temie Korwasa eto bisia kene chamagano temie Ebuna bono chibara cheito omugabano itoni gagasaine Kosomi abana chizukuru omugabana narwe paseri Anyagetari temie Ramariogo tarikolema Anyagetari mentire sabesi abeyere
Somoroberio bwa kugenda kurigereria na kumurekera amagenderero korwa serikali ya county ya Kisii rero nigo tukumurekere municipality ya Kisii ase municipality ya Kisii okwagachwa kwa governor Spark nigo kugenderera tem Kisii County Mechanical Unit okwagacho kwaye nigo kugenderera tem Kisii Filling Station okwagachwa nigo kugenderera tem Kisii County Headquarters okwagachwa nigo kogendererete. Ase ensemo yobochenu emashini ya CT scan nigo yabekirwe ase nyagetari enene ya KTRH. Emashini ya X-ray nigo ebekire. Chiventilator ase ensemo ya ICU nigo chiabekirwe. Elainen ase ensemo ya ICU. Emeito amonichi uniform chiaboroire nchiro ase ensemo echipara chikabro nigo chiabekirwe ochakere petrol station ya regional wika Safaricom. Chikabro boigo chiabekirwe ase street ya NCBA Dakiani Imperial Primary. Boigo chikabro chiabekirwe korwe nyagetari ya KTRH goika Quickmart. Epara ya jogo kari kipitinigo ya rosigwe. Asamagenderande epelimeta wonigo ya agachirwe ase ensemo ya ATC. Chikabro nigo chiabekirwe ATC. Material Recovery Unit ya rosigwe. Kisi Vet Lab Insulator gose ensemo yogosambira obochabu nigo ya agachirwe.
Mañana